Hello! Long time no see! I feel like I need to stop starting YouTube videos like that because I just am really gappy about uploading, but it's fine. It's fine. We're working with it. But hello, I'm Danielle. Nice to see you. It's been a while. So now that it is already July, I thought since I've been MIA on YouTube that I would do a mid-year wrap-up of kind of life, writing, and reading all in one. Because yeah, I've been missing on YouTube. I posted a Camp Nano video back in April for Camp NaNoWriMo because I had planned on participating, did participate about this much, and then kind of stopped off about halfway through. So I had started to vlog, but I never like slapped together any footage just because life just kind of got crazy. That's kind of been the theme of 2022. So without further ado, I wrote it down in my fun little mushroom notebook. But yeah, I just have some mid-year updates and kind of what I'm looking forward to for the rest of the year. So in life and work, me and my husband just recently moved to a new area at the start of 2022 because he has been wrapping up his master's degree. He graduated in May. That's another big life update, but he has been focusing on his studies. So at the start of this year, he did start working full-time after working part-time just while he was really just kind of in the thick of things with school. So that made us move, or we chose to move so we could be closer to his work and just commuting and just better life balance. So we've had a lot of big changes in our life surrounding that. And then also right around the time that I decided to do Camp Nano, I was selected for a promotion at my work, which is awesome and incredible, and I'm super grateful to have been chosen for that and that I have now stepped into that role. But April was a lot of preparing and learning and getting ready to step into the new role at the start of May. So it just kind of made life busy. And so that's kind of like been big life updates. With just a lot of work, a lot of move, a lot of figuring out new rhythms for our life and where we're at. With that, it did really impact kind of my writing goals for this year. I had previously discussed at the start of the year that I wanted to have Project Concealment complete, like query ready complete, and then I wanted to have a first draft of a new novel. What more than likely will happen is I will have Project Concealment fully drafted and I might get it to betas by the end of the year. And that I'm just having to like accept because of where I'm at, because I don't want to burn myself out and create really unrealistic expectations for myself and my writing, while I'm also having to juggle a lot of other things. My company is really quick paced. I work for a startup, and so things pivot like crazy, and it's definitely an adjustment for me. I've been at the company for a year at this point, but I've never worked at a startup before. I've never been a team lead before, and so it's been a lot, and so I'm having to understand that I need different rest than I thought I was gonna need, and that some of my writing goals were just not super realistic, but completely based on things that I didn't know that was gonna happen this year. So with Project Concealment, for Camp Nano back in April, I had decided that I said I was going to try and finish that draft fully. That didn't happen. I did end up writing quite a bit, rewriting, restructuring parts of the first half of the book. So a lot of that has changed, and so with doing all of that, I'm still sitting at about 55,000 words. So my goal is about 85 for a first draft, just so I can have good bones. But I've gotten about 2/3 of it done. So what I have done in kind of preparation and kind of just wanting to get back into writing a little bit or working on the project is I compiled it all and I printed it. So I'm rereading it on paper because when I was rereading it on the like on the computer, on Scrivener, I was editing as I was going, and so I really just want to sit and read, and I'm highlighting like new setting, new character is introduced, this is a plot point, this is how the main character sees themselves, and just those kinds of things, so that I can have a better understanding holistically of where things are at. Especially because as I started Camp Nano and was rewriting / editing / adding to the draft, I didn't keep a great track of those kinds of things. So I'm just trying to get a better understanding of my story and where it's at right now. I'm definitely pantsing to an extent. I have a goal for the plot and what I want to happen, but it's not like solidified into a plan. So that's kind of my writing update right now, as well as I like loosely started plotting in my head a contemporary romance. And so if I'm able to put a lot of work into Project Concealment between now and NaNoWriMo in November, I would really love to participate in NaNoWriMo. Realistically, I don't know if that'll be possible, but that is a goal, and I feel like a little bit more realistic. I am not participating in Camp Nano this July because we have a lot going on, and we're like going to be out of town for 9 days, and so I'm just not going to be able to write consistently. So I'm making my goals more realistic and more bite-sized. I have a really hard time doing that just in general, where I make really insane, awesome, like far-fetched goals, and it's not a bad thing. But I also know like who I am as a person, and I know that if I don't hit my goals, I kind of get down on myself and beat myself up. So I want to be successful, and I want to set myself up for success, knowing how I work and how I operate and just all of that. So that's kind of where writing's at so far this year. I feel a little like about it, but I'm still working on my project. I still love my book. I love my concept. I love my characters. And so I'm just going to do that, and it'll be good. And then lastly, my final kind of update check-in is reading for 2022. I'm currently sitting at 50 books. I try to read 100 books a year. I do count rereads. I only count them once for the year though. Unfortunately, I might change that. I don't know. There's this one series that I love. But side note. But I have been doing a lot better this year of like diversifying what I'm reading and how I'm reading. The last 2 years I have heavily leaned into audiobooks because it's just what works for me. I also listen to audiobooks at like 2 speed because that's how fast my brain goes. If you ever notice me talking super fast in a video, it's because I just am going a mile a minute inside of my head, and so sometimes I talk like that. I try not to, but just kind of who I am. But I have actually read several ebooks. I've read physical books. I've also branched out of my classic YA fantasy genre that I tend to stick to, or even just middle grade genre. And I've done some different like mystery books and thriller books, and I've even read like several nonfiction books this year. I know, who is she? It's great. They've been really good. And so I just have really been enjoying changing up what I'm reading. I've also been trying to be more intentional about reading new releases. And new releases doesn't have to be like 2022. I'm giving myself grace, and I'm saying into 2021 as well, because those matter just as much. So I'm trying to read more new releases because as someone who is an aspiring to be published author, I kind of want to know what's going on. And there are a lot of people that are publishing books right now that I really love their stuff. So that's kind of my mid-year check-in. I plan on doing a video of like my actual reading stats and like a little bit more of a breakdown, because I kind of nerd out about that kind of stuff later at the very end of the year, or probably the start of 2023, so I tend to read on the last day of the year, and I want that to count if I finish a book. So that is my mid-year check-in. As I'm looking forward to the last half of this year, I have been trying to be better about intentional goals and intentional plans for my goals. I'm trying something called the 12-week year. It's all over TikTok, but I'm trying it out this quarter and just seeing how that goes. It might not work for me. I'm really great at making plans and organizing things and like making lists. I'm not always good about following through with them. So we'll see if the 12-week year is even something that works for me. but I have a lot of intentional goals that I'm trying to do, both with writing, with my life, with my work, with my wellness, and so I'm excited for the rest of this year. I do want to have Project Concealment, at least a full novel done. Draft 1, it's been, we're gonna get there. It feels so weird that like I put so much effort into this like book and it's not even like a full book, but it's still beautiful and I love it. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun rest of the year. I'm really excited. As we get into like July, all of my favorite things happen the rest of the year. So I'm excited to like celebrate my birthday, celebrate our anniversary, celebrate my husband's birthday, and then we got Halloween and just all the holiday things. So the last half of the year is the best half of the year. You heard it here. I won't back down from that. But let me know if you have any goals for the rest of the year or how your 2022 goals are going. Subscribe. I want to be more consistent with YouTube because I really enjoy this outlet. But regardless, I know I'm pretty flaky about videos, so I won't be offended if you don't subscribe. But I am going to try and be a little bit more intentional about that. So subscribe if you want to journey along with me in all the crazy that 2022 has to offer. See you next time.